Voters in Stafford may be the first to pass judgment on the state government's proposal to sell assets. A privatisation plan is all but confirmed in next week's state budget, with options limited by federal cuts.
In Cooktown, for a community cabinet meeting, the Premier talked about maternity services at the local hospital. A bit boring for some, but good news for others. However, he didn't want to say much about the budget.
That's one for the Treasurer. He loves to talk to the media. He'll be out, I'm sure, in Brisbane today.
He was. No longer just hinting that asset sales is the likely option, that choice now appears inevitable. After the federal budget, the state doesn't want to cut more spending or raise taxes.
More cuts to cuts would lead to a decline in services, and more taxes on taxes would increase the cost of living.
Which leaves the sale or lease of ports and power stations.
The strongest choice will also be the smartest choice.
Privatisation wasn't so smart for the previous Labor government.
We paid dearly for not consulting. People were opposed to asset sales.
The LNP has given plenty of warning nothing will be sold before the next election. But before that will be the Stafford by-election.
The Stafford by-election will be a referendum on asset sales.
The former MP whose resignation sparked the by-election is still speaking his mind. Chris Davis claims it was impossible to have a sensible debate in the LNP. He says there's a culture of intolerance coming from the top.
I assumed that if we were to have a change, it would have to start in the top leadership group. I think self-evidently with the leader.
We have had many long, serious, worthwhile debates over major policy issues. So I quite simply say the opportunity has always been there for Dr Davis to raise these concerns.
The Premier hasn't set the by-election date. The LNP hasn't announced a candidate. Chris O'Brien, ABC News, Brisbane.